Some players became legends. David Hurd became a ghost. He didn't chase headlines, he chased goals. Again and again. He didn't sell shirts, he delivered points. 145 goals for Manchester United. More than Best, more than Beckham, more than anyone remembers. But no statue, no banner, no voice saying his name. Wembley, 1963, FA Cup Final. Hurd scores twice. United lift the trophy, and 5 years later when they conquered Europe, he wasn't on the pitch, he wasn't on the bench, he wasn't in the photo. A broken leg, a full heart, a seat in the stands. He gave them everything. They gave him silence. No goodbye, no tribute, no thank you. He didn't fade, he was forgotten, but not here, not now. Because before the names they chant, there was a man who never missed and was always missed. David Hurd, the striker history left behind. Subscribe if you believe some records deserve more than numbers, they deserve justice. He was born in Scotland, raised in Manchester, April 15th, 1934. His father, Alec Hurd, was a star at Manchester City. But David never wore that shadow. He made his own. May 1951, Stockport County, a boy of 17, on the pitch beside his father, a football first father and son starting together. First game, first goal, no press, no praise, just football and focus. They said he was quiet. They were wrong. He was sharp, unbothered, built different. He didn't shout for attention. He let the scoreboard speak. He didn't grow up on dreams, he grew up on streets. Manchester grit, steel skies, no excuses. By the time the top clubs noticed he wasn't a prospect, he was a weapon. Arsenal came calling. £10,000, 1954. And just like that, David Hurd stepped out of his father's shadow and into history's blind spot. He arrived in North London, 1954, £10,000. No headlines, no noise, just expectations. He gave them goals. That's all he gave, that's all they got. 1956 to 57, top scorer. 1957 to 58, top scorer. 1958 to 59, again. 1960 to 61, 29 goals in a single season. 4 years in a row he led the line. He carried the numbers, he carried the weight, he carried Arsenal, but they carried nothing. No titles, no cups, no medals. He gave them 107 goals in 180 appearances. Still among Arsenal's top scorers decades later. But no banners, no parades, no roar in the streets, just Hurd. Scoring in silence. He wasn't graceful. He was efficient, he didn't light up games, he ended them. And when the trophies never came, he didn't blame. He moved on. Because David Hurd wasn't chasing comfort, he was chasing the chance to matter. And in 1961, he found the call that would define him. Manchester United came calling. £37,500. That was the price. The quiet man was about to join the loudest rebuild in English football. Manchester United needed goals, needed structure, needed calm inside the storm. Matt Busby didn't sign a star. He signed a striker who didn't speak much but always finished. From Arsenal to Old Trafford. The quietest signing in the loudest rebuild. He scored on debut, League, FA Cup, Europe, every first game, same ending. He didn't ask questions, he just scored. That season, United finished 15th. But Hurd still hit 17 goals. No system, no support. Still 17. He wasn't flash, he wasn't flair. But inside the box, he didn't miss. Busby didn't need another poster boy. He needed a forward who could carry weight. David Hurd was that man. He wore the number, 10. But he didn't play for the cameras. He played for the scoreline. In a club still rebuilding from ash, he became their sharpest edge. No complaints, no demands, just goals. The kind that made United relevant again. The kind that made defenders afraid again. The kind that reminded Old Trafford what winning used to feel like. David Hurd wasn't a savior. He was a solution. May 25th, Wembley, FA Cup Final, Manchester United, Leicester City. The crowd, 98,604, Wembley at its loudest since Munich the moment. Bigger than a trophy. United hadn't won a major title since the crash, since the silence, since Munich. And in that moment, David Hurd stepped forward. First goal, low drive, no celebration. Second goal, sharp finish, job done. United 3, Leicester 1, cup lifted. No roar from Hurd, no lap of honour, just him walking off like he always did. He gave them the win. He gave them release. He gave them a turning point. And still no headlines called his name. He was the striker who saved a final and disappeared back into training. The man who delivered and didn't ask for credit. The man who reminded United what silver felt like. That night at Wembley wasn't about beauty. It was about recovery, about weight lifted, about ghosts silenced, and in the middle of it all, David Hurd. Quiet, deadly, unmoved, no interviews, no cameras, just another match where he made the difference and left without applause. 1965, United win the league. Hurd, he's there, scoring, feeding Law, finishing chances, building silence. 1967, United do it again. Hurd scores 17 league goals. Crucial, consistent, clutch. He isn't best, isn't Charlton, isn't Law. But across the season, he's the one who always arrives. He finishes with 145 goals in 265 games for Manchester United. Top 15 all time. More than Dennis Viollet in the same golden era. More than Hughes. More than you think. But no murals, no books, no myth. Because David Hurd didn't dribble. He didn't dance. He didn't smile at cameras. He just made sure United kept winning. While others took the spotlight, he took the scoreboard. He played in one of the most famous front lines in football history and outscored half of it. But you won't hear his name first, or second, or at all, because David Hurd didn't need attention. He needed the ball, the space, the silence. And from there, he did what only legends do. He delivered. March 1967. Leicester City again. A game like any other until it wasn't. A challenge, a crack. A silence that followed him forever. David Hurd had broken his leg. No stretch of tears, no spotlight, just pain and quiet. He would never be the same. The season moved on. United pushed forward. So did time. But Hurd couldn't. Not fully. He returned in name, but not in motion. Just 8 matches the following season. A striker with no rhythm, no run, no roar. May 1968. Wembley again. European Cup final. United 4, Benfica 1. A historic night. The one they still play in montages. But Hurd wasn't in the lineup. Wasn't on the bench. Wasn't in the shot. They gave him a medal. But not the moment. He watched it. Not as a hero. Not even as a backup. But as a man who helped build the climb and never got to stand at the top. He never spoke about it. Never blamed anyone. But 8 games later, he was gone. Not with rage, just silence. 1968. He left Manchester United. No banner, no farewell, no thank you, just transfer papers and silence. He joined Stoke City, played 44 league matches, scored 11 goals, still sharp, still honest. But the game was changing. He wasn't a star, wasn't a story, just a striker slipping off the map. In 1970, he joined Waterford. Then Ireland. One last chapter few even mention. A single season, 5 final goals, and still, he gave everything. No headlines, no crowd roar, just Hurd wearing another shirt, still doing the job. In 1971, he managed Lincoln City. A quiet spell, a quiet exit, 5 caps for Scotland, 3 goals. Not enough for their books, not enough for theirs either. No farewell tour, no retrospective. Just the slow sound of football moving on, and David Hurd letting it. He didn't chase nostalgia, didn't beg for interviews, didn't call out the silence. He gave the game everything, and when it forgot him, he let it. October 1st, 2016. David Hurd passed away, age 82, vascular dementia. No tribute from the FA, no silence across the league, no front page farewell. Just a quiet death for a man football had long stopped speaking about. United wore black armbands, so did Stoke. But beyond that, not much. No statue at Old Trafford, no mural, no tribute among the giants. And when he passed, the BBC called it an understated farewell. A quiet goodbye for a man who gave them goals. Not a legend they erased, just one they didn't fight to remember. Just numbers in a book and memories in a shrinking circle. Paddy Crerand once said, "He had the most powerful shot in the team. But memory doesn't keep power, it keeps noise. And Hurd never made noise." He gave United 2 league titles, an FA Cup, 145 goals, and then he left. Quietly, as always. He didn't write headlines, he didn't build a brand, he just delivered and disappeared. He outscored legends, outlasted eras, but never asked for legacy, and never got one. History didn't forget David Hurd, it ignored him. But not here, not now. Because before the flash, before the fame, before football turned myth into marketing, there were men who made the game matter. David Hurd, the striker who never missed, the name they left behind, the standard that never screamed. Subscribe if you believe some legends weren't forgotten. They were buried, and it's time we brought them back.